This week I met with James, a 17-year-old foster care child who was placed in a group home. I was appointed by the court to be his guardian ad litem and look out for his best interests. James has been shuffled through 29 different foster care homes. Children like James have already experienced more pain and suffering than many people in a lifetime. This presentation will educate you on what is the reality for today's foster care children, and what could be. What is today? 84% of children in the foster care system say they want to go to college, but the powerful reality is that only 2 to 9% end up completing a bachelor's degree. So, how do we address this disparity? For many kids, the idea of college is attractive, but why do only a minuscule percentage get there? How can we as a community better support these children who lack the necessary support? Foster care children often enter the system at an early age. Unable to speak for themselves, their interests are often left to the wayside. Foster care children are less likely to be enrolled in the Head Start programs than other eligible low-income children. I have seen this firsthand as a gal. Children enter the system, and it takes months for case managers to allocate resources to allow these children to start school. Let's advocate for these children early on. Let's implement programs such as Illinois has done, where all children ages 3 to 5 are given readiness screenings within 30 days of entering the system. These requirements will ensure the youngest foster care kids are not forgotten. Children are consistently delayed in entering school in the foster care system. James has been out of school 4 weeks since he moved. This is a commonality. Delayed entry is associated with increased attendance problems and can be majorly devastating to the child's self-esteem. Let's create educational liaisons for each child in foster care. That way, these children have an ally. Entering the school mid-year adds to the difficulties of these children. They have frustrations because they won't have the same knowledge base as the rest of the kids. These fears are amplified for a child who has just been removed from one's home. This school mobility has negative effects and is associated with a higher rate of dropping out and homelessness. Also, these children have trouble developing sustainable relationships with their peers. Is this surprising? I'm not surprised. How can we expect these children to excel when they're set up for failure? Let's set them up for success. A national study found that out of 1,087 foster care children who had even one fewer living arrangement were twice as likely to graduate from high school before leaving. Let's support legislation to create mapping and locate living arrangements to allow these children to stay in the same schools. Here is another example of a child who faced difficulties in the system. Country star Jimmy Wayne went to 12 different schools as a part of the North Carolina foster care system. He said, "I don't even remember what I learned. It wasn't until I had a loving, stable home that I was able to hear anything, to learn anything. Before that, I wasn't thinking about science. I was thinking about what I was going to eat or where I could get clothes. When I was finally in one place, even my handwriting improved. I could focus. I was finally able to learn." Like Jimmy said, when he was finally in one place for a while, he was able to focus. Let's create data sharing programs that allow schools and the Department of Human Services to easily access records. Children in foster care experience more school suspension and more expulsion than their non-foster care peers. These children haven't been taught how to channel their anger and frustrations appropriately. Let's support these children with behavioral problems by introducing educators and foster care parents to trauma-sensitive practices. If we can train them to approach trauma victims with compassion and care, we could teach the children how to deal with their emotions in a more acceptable way. Additionally, foster care kids are 2 to 3 times more likely to need and receive specialized education plans. These children are also less likely to have quality education plans and are more restricted with their educational experiences. These children don't have parents ensuring their needs are met, so often they lack adequate quality education plans. Let's make sure our community is understanding that foster care children's unique needs and experiences may create an even stronger need for educational support. If we had an educational liaison, as I suggested before, they could be the child's advocate to ensure quality special education plans. I have made it clear that foster care children are less likely to graduate from college, but these children are also less likely to graduate from high school and are more likely to be held back. Foster care kids are more likely to get their GED opposed to a diploma, and GED obtainers earn less and are less likely to graduate from college. Again, let's promote educational liaisons. Let's do as Maine has done and create individual plans based on the input from schools to pave a path for success. Let's foster success as Treehouse has done, which pairs foster care children with resources such as tutoring and college counseling. What if I told you when you were a kid that you only had a 2 to 9% chance of actually attending college? Let's change that. Not only are foster care children disadvantaged, but they face additional financial difficulties and housing barriers. Let's keep foster care children supported until they're 21. Let's make sure that they have the support to enter college. Let's make strides as California has done by linking foster care kids to college prep programs. Studies show that these children outperform their peers on standardized tests, attendance, GPA, and credit accumulation. Let's encourage campuses to provide financial assistance, academic assistance, and logistical support. This has shown an increase to secondary education for children in the system. We have a choice. Let's choose to act. Let's decide that each child deserves a chance at higher ed. Let's be supportive of these policies. Let's foster success.